Hey guys, and welcome to Talk About Toys 3. And I'm sorry this is a little bit later than I thought it was going to be, but I had some technical difficulties. I hope you guys watched my Falling Down 101 video that I posted yesterday. That was a true story. That happened. I apologize for the lighting and stuff going on right now. My computer is turning on and turning up. The lighting's really bad right now, so I do apologize for that. I wanted to mention a few people, Angie and Char, which they gave me some of the ideas for a couple of the toys that I'm going to talk about tonight. I also want to mention Knowles and Michelle, which they're just my friends, but they have supported me and left comments and words of encouragement, and I appreciate it. And also Hannah is out there, and Hannah has left a whole lot of wonderful comments and that she loved my channel, and I do appreciate that, Hannah. And those comments keep me doing what I'm doing, because I do really enjoy doing this, but I also enjoy making people happy, and I'm glad that people like my videos. So share videos, share my channel, try to get other people to subscribe if you think they'll like it, and I'd really appreciate that. The first, if you've watched this series, the first two, I talk about toys that I had when I was a child, or toys that I really loved and was really excited about when I was a child. And this is no different. Now, Angie has suggested the Monchichis. Now, Monchichis were actually released in Japan in 1975, and they're monkeys. They had a furry body. They were a furry stuffed animal. Their faces were kind of like a felt type faced animal, and they had their thumb sticking up. You could put their thumb in their mouth, and they had twins that you could get. It was a boy and a girl twin. They had, I believe at one point I had one that had an actual banana in his mouth. I mean, in his hand, and that he could put in his mouth. In 85, they came over to America, is when they came over, and I forgot about that, but Mattel picked them up and sold them in America.
Here's Happy Monchichi Girl Doll Puppet.
Come on, you got me. Monchichi, Monchichi, oh, so soft and cuddly, with a thumb in her mouth, she's really neat.
And here's Happy Monchichi Boy Doll Puppet.
Rainy day, I'll play.
Happy Monchichi Girl Doll Puppet and Boy Doll Puppet, each sold separately, new from Mattel.
Now, there was cartoons. There was Monchichi Twins cartoon. There was Monchichis. I can't pronounce it. There was cartoons made after them, and they were really, really cool. And every once in a while you'll find one at a yard sale, or every once in a while you'll see a reproduction of one, or one that another company has made, like a generic type, similar to the ones that there was. But they're just really cool. They're just really cool, little fuzzy, cute. You could act like they were little babies, put their little thumb in their mouth. Now mine, the thumb either got so small because I kept putting it in the thing's mouth, or I would do like I did with my stupid with my strawberry shortcakes, and I would stick something in their mouth that wasn't supposed to be in there, and I would ruin them. But I had 2 or 3 at one point in time, and I think they made little keychains that did it, and they had a little thumb that you could stick in there. They had all kinds, but Monchichis, they were very, very cute. That was the earliest thing I could remember in my childhood, coming from Japan and coming over here and making a big impact toy-wise. The second one that Char had brought up was Teddy Ruxpin. I'll say that. Everybody knows Teddy Ruxpin. And another company actually remade Teddy Ruxpin, or revamped it and brought it back out in 2006. The original Teddy Ruxpin came out in 1984, 85.
Show and tell time.
Another teddy bear. My teddy's name is Teddy Ruxpin. he talks, he tells stories,
All batteries not included.
Hi, my name is Teddy Ruxpin. Can you and I be friends? I really enjoy talking to people. I would like...
Teddy Ruxpin, the storytelling bear, comes with illustrated book and cassette from Worlds of Wonder.
And his eyes and his mouth moved, and he told stories. And you would put a cassette tape in his back, and there was all kinds of stories. World of Wonder actually put out the most cassette tapes for him. Since then, there's been 3 or 4 companies that's actually made the Teddy Ruxpin in succession to the original one. There was, you could buy other animals and other dolls, and you could put the cassette in and sit with Teddy Ruxpin, and they would tell a story and sing together, etc., etc. There was a cartoon, of course. Everything back then had cartoons. I think the merchandising sometimes back then was actually not as, as important. I mean, the merchandising was more important than the actual toys sometimes back then. But nonetheless, I had a Teddy Ruxpin, and as excited as I was to get it when I got it when I was little, I had this thing about animated or things that I knew couldn't be real, but they were real. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. Like, we went to Disney World, and I held the hand of one of the 7 dwarfs, and Snow White and 7 dwarfs, and it was a guy in a suit. And I knew that at 6 years old. I could feel the man's hand moving in the glove, and I knew that this was not, something was not right about this, the whole setup. Like, I've got a dwarf standing here in front of me in full suit, but something's moving inside of him, and it just freaked me out as a little kid. So when I got the Teddy Ruxpin, as excited as I was, when the tape first went in and he actually started moving and talking, to be honest with you, I didn't sleep with him. I didn't put him in my room, or maybe he looked away or was in the closet in my room, because I always had that kind of feeling that even though he didn't have the cassette in him, that he was going to get up and talk one night. But I love that toy. It was a wonderful toy. And I had as many of the tapes as I could get. I didn't have all of them. I think the other characters that were with it was Grubby, and I can't remember the other characters. There was 2 or 3 different dolls that went along with them. And they were also in the Adventures of Teddy Ruxpin, the stories that went along with him. So Teddy Ruxpin, awesome toy. There's still some out there floating around. Mine died by lethal leakage of batteries, so he is no longer with us, but it was a good toy nonetheless. Another toy that I had, and my sisters had, and that we loved very much, was a glowworm. Now, these were little worms, and that's all they were. They had a hard plastic head. They've still got these out around, and the body was soft. And you would squeeze the body, and the head would light up. So I had one little tiny, and I remember having one, or my younger sister got one also when she got big enough to want one. And so we always kind of had a glowworm in our life, and they were the cutest things, and they were so sweet, and you would hug them overnight, and they would make you feel better. They would light up, so you wouldn't be afraid of the dark, or they were just that little soft extra thing to push and to squeeze and to hug on. And it was a really simple toy, really simple mechanism, really simple, design. But it was one of those toys that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And I actually bought one for my daughter, my oldest daughter, when she was little. And she wasn't that fascinated with it, because at that point, all this other stuff, happens, and there's all these other toys that are make more noise and do more things. There was one thing, though, that we did buy my daughter, and that she did not like at all, was terrified and afraid of it. Back when the second set of Star Wars came out, the first Star Wars, the first prequel Star Wars, they had a drone that shot things out at you. And you had a lightsaber that came with it, and you would deflect the things that shot out at you, the little discs. They were like little soft discs. And I remember, because I'm a big Star Wars fan, and my daughter was little at the time, and I thought, well, she'll think that's fun, that she'll think that this is a good idea. And so we ended up buying this thing, and it was a drone that set up probably about 4 foot off the ground, and it spun around, and it made the little beepy beepy noise, and then every once in a while I'd shoot one of these discs out. The most terrifying thing I could have ever done to my daughter. She was scared to death. We had to box it up. She never wanted to see it again. That was the wrong thing to buy. And although she didn't care too much for the glowworm, she hated that drone with every inch of her life. She hated it, did not want to see it ever again. I remember we spent a whole lot of money on that. And I mean, it wasn't cheap, and I just thought she was going to love it, and she just hated it. Just scared her to death. Just a little lesson to you. What you think is cool, your kids may not think is so cool. Lesson learned. Another toy, and I hope y'all aren't getting bored hearing me talk about this stuff. I enjoy talking about it, and I enjoy looking back and kind of doing a little bit of research on them, and it's fun. This is the only one that I didn't do extensive research, and if you know any extra about it, leave it in the comments below. Let me know, because I would be interested in it. And I don't have an old one. I don't have any of my old ones that anybody had made me, but I have one of the newer ones and the big ones, and once I show it to you, you're going to know. It's a sock monkey, and they've made a comeback. I walked in to a store the other day, and there was a whole bedding set of sock monkeys. The bedspread, the pillows, the sheets, they were all had sock monkeys on them. And I thought, that's the coolest thing. When I was a kid, I loved sock monkeys. I had I think slippers at one point that were sock monkeys. I had sock monkeys. My mother and my grandmother made me sock monkey dolls. And again, something that's just so simple, something that you can make. I made my daughter a sock monkey hat. I crocheted and made her a sock monkey hat. Something so simple. The design is so simple, so minimal, and it's so cuddly, and it's so cute, and it brings back so many memories from childhood. And that's what all this is about, is going back and remembering your childhood. Remembering the things that you would hug and love on and cuddle with that made you feel secure. Because as adults, I think we need that sometimes, and we forget in the hustle and bustle of life. Every once in a while, it's okay just to lay down with a sock monkey and snuggle and hug it and love on it. And we need to kind of embrace our childhood, and embrace the toys that we had, and think about them every once in a while. Kind of relive the passion of having them. Buy a toy. Go out and buy a toy. I should in no way have this in my house and be loving on it and hugging on it. But it's just the sweetest thing. I mean, if you look in my house, there's all kinds of things you'll find. Look. A Clyde. It's a Pac-Man ghost. And these things ground me. They make me feel better. They make me, they just make me feel better. So, yet again, my battery died. We're not having a lot of luck with this battery tonight. So, like I was saying, embrace your childhood. Embrace it if you are still a child or still not technically an adult. And if you're an adult, embrace being a child again. Take some old toys out and play with them. Sit down on the floor and play with your kids with their toys. And just relive those wonderful moments that we all had when we were children. And if you're still a kid, you're still young, embrace it. And remember these times. Remember the toys you played with. Remember the things that you did. Because when you look back, those times are going to be things that will help you to be calm and help you to really appreciate life, and just to be able to look back and think of the finer things in life. And those are some of the finer things in life, no matter how much the toy cost. Cherish those memories. Cherish those times. But I have a surprise, or not really a surprise, but I'm going to be on the lookout for toys. I'm going to go to Goodwills, thrift stores, yard sales, and I'm going to look for some old toys that I can talk about and hopefully show you guys, so I'm not just showing pictures. So if you can think of any toys that I can be on the lookout for that you'd like to see, just leave a comment below or tell me on Facebook if you're friends with me on Facebook, and I will try to find those toys. Now, really, realistically, some of these toys are going to be really expensive if I find them, but you never know. You go through Goodwill and you find some really old toys sometimes, and so I'm going to start doing that so that I'll have a little bit more to show, and I can have actual things like the people really like the Beetlejuice doll that I had in the last one. So anyway, I love you guys, the people who are here to support me, and I'm not going to cry about it because this is a good, happy video, but I really appreciate it. I love doing these for you, and I really enjoyed making these videos and everything. Hopefully in the next couple of days I'll have a new My Life's Punny, a little short out. Hopefully I'll have a new video, another little skit video or a little comedy video for you guys. And I'm working real hard. I've got 23 videos I think with this one, and I'm trying to put them out as fast as I can put them out with what I got. So I appreciate y'all's support. I appreciate y'all watching me, and I thank you so much, and I love you.